Well, hello my darlings, and welcome back to our channel. I am so glad you are here. For those of you who have been following the news, you are very well aware that the royal wedding is only a few hours away. Today on our channel, I am going to show you how to create a beautiful centerpiece that is fit for royalty. Stay tuned. For this project, you will need one roll of non-skid cabinet liners. You will need a fishbowl, 2 of these hurricane lamps. You will need one 4.8-inch round floral foam. You will need crystal garlands with any glass pendant of your choosing. You will need a candy dish, however, we will not be using the cover. You will also need an 8-inch round glass dinner plate and some flowers of your choosing. Of course, you'll need your handy dandy tools. Let's get crafting. So the first thing we're going to do is take our dinner plate, turn it upside down. And what we're going to be accomplishing today is we're going to be turning our candy dish and turning it upside down so that it sits atop our dinner plate as well. Now to get these two items to adhere, I am going to go in with some Gorilla Glue epoxy to simply line the brim of that candy dish. Now if you notice, I am putting the glue on top of the candy dish as opposed to trying to suppose where that epoxy should go on the glass. And so just continuing to place the epoxy around the brim of that bowl, and once I have gotten all the way back around to where I started, I am simply going to turn that bowl over onto the dinner plate, find my placement, apply some pressure, make sure those two dishes don't slide one off of the other, and then I'll set it to dry for about 10 minutes. So now that our candy bowl and our dinner plate have been sealed together, it is now time to continue to build up our centerpiece. And to do that, we're going to take our hurricane lamp and we are simply going to turn it upside down on top of that candy dish. And to do this, we are going to continue to use our Gorilla Glue epoxy, which we are going to place on the brim of that hurricane lamp. Now, with your Gorilla epoxy glue, you of course are going to have to try to work as fast as you possibly can without making a mess so that none of that glue rolls back down into that vase. Once you have gotten all of your glue in place, it is simply a matter of finding the ideal placement on top of that bowl, applying some pressure, making sure those two glass pieces don't slip and slide off of each other, and allowing it to dry for about 10 minutes. When that has dried, I'm going to take my second hurricane lamp and I'm going to place it atop the first one using Gorilla Glue epoxy as well. So here we have our centerpiece thus far, and what we are going to do to complete this is we are going to place our floral foam round on top of the mouth of our second hurricane lamp. And to do this, we are simply going to go in with a very light stream of hot glue. We're not going to use epoxy for this or even any permanent glue because that hot glue will suffice once it melts that styrofoam. And once you have placed your styrofoam, it is simply a matter of making sure that it is centered, applying some pressure, and leaving it to dry for a few moments. In the essence of time, I am simply going to continue building this piece by taking my fishbowl, turning it upside down, placing a stream of hot glue on the edge of the bottom of that fishbowl, and similarly finding my placement, applying some pressure, and allowing both of these pieces to set for a few moments. So here we have our piece with the garlands that I just placed, and I'm going to show you really and truly how simple it is to do this. All I'm using is my greening pin pushed into one of those O-rings, and I am simply going to take that greening pin and stick it into that floral foam, making sure to check the length that I want. As you can see, those pendants are hanging at a staggered pace. And of course, how you want these to hang, my darlings, is going to be entirely up to you. Now we are going to move these crystal garlands and pendants out of the way so that we will be able to create our floral arrangement both on top of the vase as well as on the bottom. Now, as you can see, I took that non-skid cabinet liner and I made a very rudimentary pattern, which is going to become the foundation upon which our roses are going to sit to make our train. And as you can see, I'm going in with a length of that cabinet liner, making sure that I can wrap it all the way around that first glass or that candy jar, making sure I can secure my train to this piece. Now all I'm going to do to secure it with that length of cabinet liner is I'm going to place in some very strategic places some hot glue so that that cabinet liner will be able to remain attached to our glass piece. Once I have done that, it is simply going to be a matter of going in and making my floral arrangements both on the top and on the bottom. Now I am going to be using red roses, no other flowers, and I'm going to be using my roses with the stems, of course, on top so that I will be able to stick those stems into the floral foam. And for the arrangement on the bottom, I am going to be using roses without the stems to glue them onto our train. Now as you can see, I'm going in with my wire cutters and I'm cutting those stems off of the roses, and all I'm going to do is cover the base of that stem with some hot glue, and I'm going to continue to place these roses around the base of that candy jar until I have come all the way back to the other side, and then I'm going to fill in the remainder of my train with my flowers. So I'm going to continue this process off camera, and then when I come back, I'm going to show you 2 ways you may be able to embellish this centerpiece. So here we have our piece, my darlings, that is almost complete. And in this segment, I'm going to show you 2 ways in which you can embellish this piece. Now, in full disclosure, you notice that our full length train is no longer, and this is because I underestimated the amount of roses it would have taken to complete this process. And so just to make sure that you guys were able to see the vision for what it was, instead of taking the whole train away, I just opted instead to cut that narrow strip and use all of the roses that I had to complete the piece. Now, we could either, when embellishing this, make this piece a candelabra by taking a pillar candle and simply placing it in our fishbowl, or if you wanted a little bit more drama, or if you wanted this piece to be lighted in any way, you could simply go in with a bottle, or rather a jar or 2 of your water gel beads, a submersible light, and then to continue the rose theme, placing a single rose in that bowl. And so I am going to clean this piece up of any glue fronds there are, and then I'll be back to show you our completed project. Well, here you have it, my darlings. A train of roses, a royal wedding centerpiece. Isn't she grand? I think I would have to say that my favorite part of this project would have to be the theme of roses that is consistent throughout the entire piece. If you opted to use the water gel beads to embellish this piece, then you would have had a single red rose atop your royal gel beads. Your fishbowl would be flanked by a glorious arrangement of red roses, and then the base of your centerpiece would be covered in red roses as well, with the beautiful train cascading onto your table. My darlings, I think I would have to say that we have nailed yet another project, and on a budget. If you think about it, the most expensive part of this project would be your flowers. Where would you get your flowers? Whether you would get them from the Dollar Tree, whether you would get them from Hobby Lobby, or in Michael's, the choice would be completely up to you. And so, my Danny's darlings, I would like to ask you, if you have found any value in this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, as well as leave me a comment in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. To my Danny's darlings, I would like to say thank you for all of the love, the comments, the questions, the feedback, the encouragement. Please know that none of it is wasted, and I appreciate each and every one of you. If you are not yet a Danny's darling, however, and you just happen to stumble across our channel today, please be sure to consider joining our ever-growing community of DIYers as we learn from and craft with each other on a weekly basis. We would love to have you. And if you so choose to join our community today, also be sure to click the notification bell to ensure that you will be among one of the first to know whenever any of our videos have been published. My darlings, I am going to leave you with the motto to our channel, which is simply this: why buy when you can DIY? And so, my darlings, my loves, until next time, I say to you, please, please, please take care of yourselves for me. Know that I love you all. Bye now.